Right. Good afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to Jamsland Online School. In our English lesson, we've learned all about the legend of Robin Hood, and we've completed our starter lesson. And this is our second lesson on Robin Hood. And today, we're going to be listening and reading the story from the perspective of a character in the story. So one of our learning objectives was to be able to write our own version of Robin Hood from the perspective of a character. So today we're going to be reading the story from the perspective of Robin Hood himself, the main character in the story. So we're going to find out all about his opinions and his views in the story, and we're going to complete some tasks as well, which has already been set in the Google Classroom for you. Right, so listen. My name is Robin Hood. You may have heard of me as I am on the run. I won't be able to stay here for long, as if the sheriff finds me, I will be taken down to the stocks. I'm here to tell you my story. My friends, I live in Sherwood Forest in Nottingham. I have a great set of friends who keep an eye out for the sheriff for me. There is Little John, Fred Tug, Maid Marian, to name a few. My enemies. Unfortunately, our great King Richard is away fighting the Crusades, and his evil brother, Prince John, and the sheriff are in charge. The sheriff should be in charge, but he's not a very good sheriff. He collects these things called taxes. Have you heard of them? It means he takes money from all of us to pay for things that we never seem to see. He keeps upping the taxes, but we still don't have any more of it. Some of the families in the forest can barely survive on the amount of money they are left with. Their families are starving. He even put the prices people had to pay for their homes up, and then took their homes away from them when they couldn't even pay for the taxes because he had raised the amount, leaving them homeless. So that is where I come in my merriment. I got thrown out of my home, Loxley Hall, and was also made homeless through no fault of my own. So I decided enough was enough. We decided it wasn't right that he should be in charge anymore and keep taking our money, but we couldn't stop him. So we decided to borrow back what we could and give it back to the poor. The poor are the people who need it after all. It just so happens that I am also a skilled archer. I met my merry men when I accidentally killed one of the kings there. They promised not to report me if I could win an archery competition, which I did. We began living in the forest in trees and caves. We sometimes tour people who are traveling and invite them to join our feast for a small price. It's the only way we can make any money to survive, you see. I don't keep the money for myself either. I always make sure that the poor get a share from it. My best friend is Little John, only he's not so little. He is a 7-foot giant. I met him in the forest. We had a duel on the river bank using logs as our spears. He landed me in the water and then agreed to join my band of men if I could beat him in an archery competition, which of course I could. Later today, there is an archery competition in the village with prize money. You see, that's why I love this competition. It brings me cool money. So I think I must attend and win the money for my people. So there you have my story. What I do and who helps me. What would you have done in such a position? We always hear of these popular sayings, two wrongs do not make a right. If you were in Robin Hood's position, what would you have done? Would you steal from the rich and give to the poor? In fighting for justice, do you have to commit crime? Is it okay to commit crime to right wrong? Is what Robin Hood is doing, is it legitimate? Does he have to be an outlaw to